His objective today is to use stance, movement, gestures, and facial expressions, as well as eye contact, to express his message and to achieve his speech's purpose. He also needs to make his body language smooth and natural. The time to complete this challenge is 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay, so timer, green 5, yellow 6. That's enough. Good shot.
24 hours of Moab. So again, why did I do this? Because it will be an epic story for the grandkids. What is 24 hours of Moab? Well, let's start with what is Moab. Moab is a small little town in Utah that attracts scores of visitors every year to the national parks in its backyard. The Arches National Park and the Canyon Slant National Park. But it also attracts a lot of mountain bikers. It is a mecca for mountain bikers. It has an extensive amount of trails to offer, and that's why it's a mecca for the mountain bikers. Any guesses what is 24 hours of Moab? It is a 24-hour mountain bike race. I'm not talking tongue-in-cheek, my friends. It is a 24-hour race. Now, you might think I don't look like somebody who can ride my bike for 2 hours, let alone 24 hours. Well, you are absolutely right. I was in a relay team of 5 men who rode as a team for 24 hours. But believe it or not, there were solo riders who rode for 24 hours non-stop. That is humbling. I'll move on back to my race rather than talking about the great athletes over there. It is a 16-hour drive from the Bay Area, and we left on a Thursday afternoon, or rather Wednesday, and reached there on a Thursday afternoon. We got there tired. We yet had to acclimatize to 4,027 feet above sea level, and the race had yet to begin. And before I move on to Friday, let me talk about the 3 salient features of the race. Salient feature number 1, you've already gotten that. It's a 24-hour mountain bike race. Salient feature number 2, it is a 14.6-mile loop that you as a team do it over and over again for 24 hours. And the team with maximum number of loops in those 24 hours is the one that wins the race. Salient feature number 3, the way the teams are categorized is based on the number of riders. It could be a solo man team, a 2-man team, 3-man team, or like us, a 5-man team. So this is now Thursday afternoon when we reach there. But before I move on to Friday, I will quickly jump on to Saturday. That's when the race began. And then time permitting, I'll come back to Friday. Saturday noon is when the race began. And the way the race begins is in a typical Le Mans starting fashion, which means is that the riders are first going to run for a mile to their bikes. And the idea behind running to your bikes is to thin the crowd out, because the trails are narrow and it cannot take 500 riders at the same time. So imagine now you thin the crowd out by running to your bikes and thinning the crowd out. So it's a very interesting start that you have in all these mountain bike races. And the first mile was a sandy single-track road, which ends in an endo. I remember this very vividly. I got onto my bike. I was the first man in, so it was around sunset. So I get onto my bike, and then I start going up the sandy track. And towards the end of 1 mile, there was an endo, and yes, we took that endo. I did it too. And after mile 1, I thought I was done. I could not go any further, but I had to still go 13.6 miles. And I was still getting used to the elevation. And the next few miles were relatively easy. It was rocky, technical sand, but you climb up, and
land and tried to have bars. And what happens is the front wheel pops up and you start trying to climb up with these sections. So then you have to go ahead and press back the front wheel. But then what happens? You lose weight on the rear wheel and the rear wheel will spin. There's a constant balancing between the front and the rear wheel. So there's constant balancing the weight between the front and the rear wheel. So the next few miles went relatively easy until the first major obstacle of the day. It's called the nosedive. As the name suggests, it is a nosedive. It was about 10 feet drop. It was a cliff. And the only thing I could do is stick my bike up on my shoulder and jump down the cliff. And then put my bike on the other side and then climb up after a rock climb and then start bike riding. That's the first major obstacle in the day, the nosedive. Then again, a little bit of sandy patches, a little bit of rock, deep tracks, fairly easy, until you hit the second major obstacle in the day. What is this called? The ledge. Which is nothing but some rocky steps, and you go down those steps. And the idea is you push your weight back and go down, so that you don't put a lot of weight on the front wheel and then go. So you put the weight back and the front wheel down. And then the remaining section was all the home stretch. Sounds relatively easy, but of course I was taking exposure on the home stretch too. And that brings an end to my first lap. Again, it was on sunset, so the first portion of the trail I saw in sunlight, the other half I could not see. And don't worry, we had lights. Wonderful, which were more powerful than the car headlights. And then the second lap that we had was, at least my second lap was around sunrise, and now I could not see the first section of the trail, but I could see the second half when the sun started to rise. That's a very unique memory that I have of the trail. The first half I saw in sunset, and the second half I saw during sunrise. And since I have a little bit more time, I'm now going to switch back to Friday, right? So the race started on Saturday noon, and we're going to hold on to Sunday noon, so I'm going to come back to Friday now. On Friday, we had a decision to make. The decision was whether we ride the race loop or go out somewhere else, explore in Moab. Of course, since we were out exploring Moab, we decided to do the Master Bike Trail, which is all rock, no sand, all rock. And I will speak about the Master Bike Trail some other day. Thank you.